Hey there, my name is Michaela, and I'm a 28-year-old mom of 2 girls under 4.
And my name is Patty, a 34-year-old mom of 2 boys also under 4.
And we are the hosts of What's Up Mom, a podcast about kids, friendship, and navigating the always changing world of modern motherhood.
So grab that cold brew or margarita, we don't judge, and crank up those noise-canceling headphones because this week's episode starts now.
What is Baby Reindeer?
It's a Netflix show, and it's a true story, which is why everyone's watching it. And it's about this guy. I don't know if Donnie is his real name in real life, but it's about this guy named Donnie, and he works at a bar. And basically, this woman walks in and just kind of imprints on him and starts stalking him. So I'm 3 episodes deep. It's pretty intense. Stalking is extremely interesting to me. Not that I want to be a stalker, but it's just weird that one person can be so obsessed with another person that they follow them to their jobs and their houses, and they know everything about them.
And no one ever realizes it either.
Well, some people
That's creepy.
do. They start to become somewhat aware because the stalker wants to eventually interact with that person. Have you seen Drew Barrymore and Renee Rapp's interview a couple months back? Drew Barrymore has a stalker, and he showed up at one of the events and got up while she was talking, and it's wild. You can see how uncomfortable she is because she's absolutely had an interaction with this person before, and she just gets up and leaves, and security comes and all this stuff. And I don't know, it's crazy that it's that obsessive for people. And that freaks me out entirely, but I'll watch it from afar, aka on Netflix. So shameless plug for the Netflix show. I also watched the roast of Tom Brady yesterday, and that was awesome. I don't know if you're a football fan. I just recently became one. And I feel like it was very funny to watch someone who is notorious for not having a sense of humor be roasted by tons of comedians.
You're in a whole different media world than I'm at. I'm watching what's the podcast?
You're watching tornadoes.
Yes, in another browser that is minimized right now, but still on so that I can go back later and watch it. There is live storm tracers. There are 6 of them. They are chasing all of the tornadoes, and I watch it for hours. But in the media world, I've been watching Who's Your Daddy, whoever that girl is. I don't even know her freaking name. But I've been listening to a couple of her podcasts.
Call me daddy? Call her daddy?
Call
Alex
her daddy.
Cooper.
Yeah, call me dad. Call you Alex Cooper. Yeah.
Call her daddy.
Well, she had JoJo Siwa on there, and I only found that out through a TikTok. So I watched that, which was miserable for JoJo, and then I've just kind of piggybacked off of the other couple famous people that I knew.
You gotta go back to her old podcasts because some of them are so funny, and it's all about her.
She doesn't give a shit either,
and she goes all the way into I don't know. There's definitely some questionable topics, but it's funny, and a lot of girls you don't go there, and she does.
No.
So that's why she's successful. So. How was your weekend at Great Wolf Lodge, to totally pivot?
Going to the lodge. You ever watch those commercials growing up? Okay, well, hopefully other people listening have, because that would be embarrassing if not. It was great. We got home though, and after spending 72 hours with the children, we were over it. Once we put them to bed, Derek got Applebee's carry-out and margaritas, and we sat and ate our first meal together without the children in 3 days. And it hit so hard Because as you know, when you're on a vacation, there's no, like, you're in the same room as the children for the most part at night. You can't disappear and go get on the computer or watch TV. So every meal was just, tossing the kids back and forth and getting the kids to eat whatever food was available to us. It was a buffet, but the children ate nothing. So it was us just, tossing the kids back and forth, walking around the lobby while one of us ate. So the Applebees really hit the spot after all of that.
What do they say? Vacation is just taking care of your children on location with much less supplies.
Oh, I've never heard that one. I just hear vacation is parenting in a different area or like in a different state.
Yeah, on location. Parenting on location.
I like that one better though, with less supplies.
Way less supplies. Like, oh, we don't have a high chair. Guess you're sitting on my lap. Or like, oh, we just have this cardboard pack and play. Enjoy. Hopefully you sleep.
I had to hold Charlotte on the potty every
Dude,
time.
Rookie move. I have a freaking travel potty seat. We don't go nowhere with that.
I don't have one yet because we're not fully potty trained. We're still she's like ready again, so we're starting that again. But what better place than a water park where she's in a bathing suit the whole time than to just, all right, time to sit on the potty. It wasn't a good place. That was a spoiler alert. It was awful. Ripping a bathing suit off a child when they are, Mommy, I have to go pee. Mommy, I have to go pee right now. And you're running through the freaking water park and ripping the bathing suit off to have him pee. And then you're putting the wet bathing suit back on the child.
It's like trying to get a freaking, like, what are those dogs?
Sock on a fish. Yeah, it just doesn't.
A sock on a fish. I've never heard that one.
I just made it up. That's because that's just going through my brain.
Like a bulldog into a sausage casing, it's like impossible.
Yes, a wet bulldog.
Jeez. Well, out of all the things, because I accidentally almost started a flame war on one of your TikTok reels or your Instagram reels, whatever it was. And I mean, I've taken many a road trip. And I think, what was it? You went to Mason, Ohio, to that Great Wolf Lodge. And you went, what was 4.5 hour drive? Did it take you 4.5 hours, or how much longer did it end up taking you?
Closer to 6. It was supposed to be 3:50, like if there was no traffic. But we stopped at the Olive Garden.
Ooh, good choice. Get some breadsticks up in there.
And the kids, again, ate nothing. So by the time our food came, we were just scarfing it down. But we chose that place, fun fact, because they have those little tablets on the table to play games on.
Olive Garden has that?
Yeah, they're like Chili's. You probably have you even been to an Olive Garden in the last 5 years?
Not in the last 5. Well, actually, yeah.
Or a Chili's.
I don't think I've ever been to a Chili's, I'm going to be honest with you.
This is where the Livonia folk, us poor people go to eat.
Listen, I'm offended. I would love to go to a Chili's with you. All right, what even is a Chili's? Tell me. Is it?
Oh no, it's like an Applebee's.
Is there chili there?
There is chili, but no one gets the chili. It's not that great.
Type of restaurant. Okay.
It's like an Olive Garden, or it's not. It's like an Applebee's and a Red Robin.
We're gonna need to go deeper because I don't know what a Red Robin is. I have been to Applebee's.
Okay.
Now remember, I'm from a different country. We didn't have it.
They don't have.
Nope, none of them. Not even an Applebee's. So the first Applebee's I went to was in Times Square, New York City. And I'm like, this seems legit. It must be great because it's in the middle of Times Square. And we went in and I'm like, this is a shit fucking hole. And it was.
They are, but they have some of the cheapest food. And it's all frozen and, just reheated shit. But if you're going for like carbs and a cheap drink, like Applebee's is the place to go.
But is it a drink that you actually like want, or are you waking up with like one hell of a headache the next day?
Absolutely getting a hangover from that. But it's the difference of you spend $1 on a margarita at Applebee's.
$1?
Or you spend $14 at the place that we went last week for the same serving of alcohol.
Hold on.
I pick the dollar.
Hold on. This is news to me now. I need to look this up immediately. Hold on. I need to do some research here.
Applebee's is the cesspool for hangover beverages. They mix a whole 5-gallon jug up with just bottles of tequila and bottles of like triple sec or lemonade, and they call it their like mucho margarita, and it's $5 and it's like 3 servings of alcohol. But this month they have a $1 margarita. It's $1.
Dude,
and I think on the website it says, don't think too much about it. Just come get one.
wait, hold on. So for everyone that is listening right now, I really did go ahead and Google Applebee's. Now, I have been to Applebee's, as I mentioned, in the middle of New York, Times Square. However, I've probably not been back to an Applebee's since then. So, and that was probably 12 years ago. So, I just Googled Applebee's and I pulled up, like, I guess their like national menu. And the first thing that pops up is mozzarella sticks. I mean, sold. I'm down. And then you scroll down a little bit and it's like appetizers, wings. I love wings. Where's this place been? There's Applebee's down the road. Why haven't we gone there? We going there for Mother's Day?
I want you to look up the reviews at that Applebee's before we move on to any other topic of discussion.
Applebee's. Oh, this isn't going to be good. I already know this, especially where it's located. 3.7.
Just look up the last most recent reviews.
Everything was excellent. I stopped in here with a few friends to grab a drink. It's a reliable choice. Uh-oh. Here we go. 1 stars. Came in for a quick drink with a friend. Upon entering, the place was empty, which was good and bad. They told us at the door it would be 30 minutes to order my food. I ordered a whiskey with Crown. They switched his drink. He wasn't happy about it. Spoiler alert. But like the rest of these are not terrible. Oh, well, we're getting down there.
$1 margarita. So what's funny about that is that margarita we ordered. We got a margarita to go on Saturday night. Again, it was that our like sit down. Oh my God, let's eat and have a drink and hang out. The drinks that we got, they were $9 to go margaritas. They had mine had 1800 and another type of tequila and like triple sec or something. I got halfway through it. I was plastered. And I look at Derek. I'm like, how you feeling? He's like, oh, I'm fine. I don't feel anything. I'm like, okay, brother. Like, give it a couple more sips. I finished mine. I look over. He's not even done with his. He's passed out. Like, he's asleep because it had so much alcohol in it. I'm like, all right, well, that fun night just turned into a early bedtime.
I just got to the ad where it says it's a $1 margarita. Don't overthink it. And I'm absolutely overthinking it. But
does it say don't overthink it?
It does. Can we please do a series where you just videotape me walking into these restaurants as my first experience as an American? Like, there's a lot I haven't been to, and it's kind of embarrassing at this point. Like, I
think that's a great separate series. Absolutely.
And I just went to a Big Boy maybe a month ago, and I was appalled.
Did you see roaches in the salad bar?
I mean, I did not see anything crawling. But I don't know, man. I just don't think I'm built for these restaurants. Ask me what I ordered.
What did you order?
Chris got a burger, okay, which I feel like maybe was the safe choice. And no, not it. Okay, well, wait, it gets worse. So the kids ordered chicken nuggets, which is like, I mean, you can't, you could fuck them up. Truthfully, you could fuck up chicken nuggets. However, I ordered the turkey dinner, okay? And when I tell you that I think I ordered an entire bowl of salt, that's absolutely what I ordered. That's what they heard anyway. When I said turkey dinner, they're like, oh, just give her salt. And that's what I got. And I ate one bite of it and I pushed the plate over to Chris and I'm like, we'll be stopping at Subway on the way home. And he's laughing at me because he chose Big Boy, and he's like, I thought it'd be better than this. I'm like, I didn't the moment we walked in. It's fine. No hate to Big Boy, just maybe not my type of restaurant. I think I'll stick with my $14 drinks. Thank you so much. It's a $1 margarita.
Join us next week where we discuss how we went to Applebees this week.
Dude, I'm so excited. Can we please do this?
I was going to say, why are we going to a $100 restaurant on Saturday? Let's just go to Applebee's.
It's downtown Detroit. I'm sure there's one. The reviews are probably not very good, though. It's fine. Well, okay, so you had your Applebee's. You went on vacation with your kids. You survived. Will you be doing it anytime soon again?
Okay. No.
What were the products? And by products, like best laid plans. I feel like we have to do like a little snippet on any of our episodes. Best laid plans. You had a 3.5-hour drive. You got to tack on maybe an hour to that for like potty breaks and like just, diaper changes, peeing for you, peeing for Derek, and gas, whatever it is. What was the thing that you were like, oh my God, I'm so happy I brought this? And then what was the one thing that you were like, didn't touch this at all?
So maybe not a happy I brought this, but when we settled into the hotel room and I'm like, okay, let's, all throw our bathing suits on, go to the water park because that's what you're there for, is the water park. And I said, let's put everything in the stroller. And Derek's like, why are we bringing the stroller? I said, we are bringing the stroller. He's like, no, I don't. I'm like, we are bringing the stroller. And it was like, I was not fighting him about it. I knew what would happen if we didn't bring the stroller. And lo and behold, bringing the stroller everywhere we went while we were on that trip was a saving grace. So bringing the stroller, we got a new double side-by-side Zoe stroller. I will never go anywhere without that thing, but I'm glad that we took it everywhere in the resort, because I had a baby who can hardly walk and a toddler who can run very fast. If you strap them into a stroller, you have no chance of one running away or one wanting to walk, right? So that was great. The thing that I thought I'd use, but I didn't use, was I got like a knockoff version of the Slumber Pod, but it was just one that fit the pack and play, because I figured Cece wouldn't sleep because it wasn't going to be pitch black in the room. It was pitch black. She slept fine. I really wanted to whip that out and see what the hype was about, but I didn't need it.
Now, they slept in the same room as you guys? How was that?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Sounds like it was good.
So they put us up in first of all, I think the guy who booked us thought my kids were above the age of 5. So they booked us in a room that had bunk beds.
Nice.
But that only ended up being like a safety issue from the moment we got there. But we had a queen bed and a pull-out bed on the couch, and my poor fiance had to lay on the couch bed with the toddler who doesn't stop kicking at night. And I got to snuggle with Cece until she fell asleep, and I kept trying to transfer her to the pack and play. Sooner or later, it stuck, and I got the whole queen bed to myself. So that was wonderful. Derek woke up and you could tell he was like hunched over, like a half angled. I'm like, does your back hurt?
Mine's great.
He's like, yeah, between sleeping on a spring bed and the toddler kicking me in the back all night, I feel wonderful. I'm like, okay, let's go to the water park.
Now, would you say that the water park experience and like the sleeping in the same room, all of it was worth it? Would you do it again? That's the real question. You know what? Not worth it. Would you do it next weekend?
No, not with the kids these ages. And I do have to disclose that trip was sponsored. So all the good things I say about Great Wolf Lodge, this was a sponsored trip. I did not pay for anything on this trip. Would I do it again and pay for it? Absolutely not. I would wait until they were like 4 and 6, 5 and 8. that's a great age because they can swim and hang out and you don't really have to be on top of them. And, you can lay them down for bed and they could be in a separate room and, you can hang out with your spouse or they can run around the hotel room. It's, you don't have to entertain them the whole time.
Well, that's good to know. We were possibly looking at Great Wolf Lodge this summer. It's that in Kalahari. And we'll see.
You should click my link and book through my link.
I will absolutely do that if we decide. Don't you worry, Great Wolf Lodge. You'll get your kickback. The traveling portion of it, like we've both been on huge trips. You've gone to Hawaii with Charlotte. I've done Nicaragua with 2 kids. And
I would love for you to talk about your experience in Nicaragua and how culturally different that was from just living a day-to-day life in the United States. What stuck out to me was the lack of car seats and how that's just a thing.
Oh my God. It was, the kids loved it. Lorenzo was free as a bird, man. He was like a freaking bouncy ball in the back seat. Like, whoa, we're having a great time. I'm like, wow, this is dangerous. The cultural difference, I think, that was kind of shocking to me was that even as Americans or Canadians or whatever you want to call it, going into that country, there was not a whole lot of comforts of home. My mom and dad went ahead of us, thank God, and were able to secure some things for us so that I wouldn't have to hold Lorenzo over the toilet seat because he's a nervous pooper and he needs utter relaxation when he is on that toilet. So me holding him was not going to cut it. He probably would not have pooped for the 10 days we were there if that was the case. So my mom was like, all right, we're going to find a toilet seat. We're going to bring one. I ended up bringing one with me in my luggage, so it was fine. Yes, I did travel with a potty seat in my purse through security, so that was fun. Through security, yep. I don't know. I think the traveling part wasn't as bad as just the constant. I was with them for 10 days straight with Chris. It's the exact same complaint that you just had. It's not even a complaint, but like,
oh, I complained.
They go to preschool, they go to daycare. There's lulls in your week where you don't hang out with your kids versus vacation where you're like with them all the time. And God will love them to death, but I'm kind of used to a different vacation. And I'm sure you are too, where we can kind of sit back and maybe not chase tiny beings around a beach. Would I do it again? Yes. Learned a lot. Number 1, don't ever go to a place that has a connecting flight. That's stupid. You have 2 children. There's no reason you should be going anywhere that has more than one stop, and that stop being your final destination. We had connecting flights. We had the worst experience with flights I've had in my entire adult life. Of course, it happened with the 2 kids. We had delayed flights. We had canceled flights. We had to board and then deboard. We almost had lost luggage. Our stroller broke. We ran out of snacks. Okay. We ran out of, do you know how scary that is?
Okay. So I want to piggyback on that with my Great Wolf Lodge trip. Ask me how much I spent on snacks for 3 days. I spent $100 on snacks. Ask me how many snacks I came home with.
$100 worth of snacks.
Nothing.
Oh my God. That's actually, wow. For 3 days?
My kids didn't eat any food. They only ate the fucking snacks. They wouldn't even eat the non-organic strawberries from the buffet. I think Cece knew that those bitches weren't organic. She could smell it or something.
These have pesticides on them.
They wouldn't eat the apples. They wouldn't eat the muffins. Like, these kids love muffins, and they wouldn't eat anything. I'm like, let's get a pizza. Let's get chicken nuggets. Let's get French fries. Let's get ice cream. Nothing. Nothing, just snacks. So keep going. But I really wanted to piggyback off of that.
Dude, 10 days, okay? I brought an entire little pinwheel thing where they could choose their own snacks. I had granola bars, I had crackers, everything. But because all the flights were so delayed and we got pushed back and the airport wasn't open, they were surviving off of Ritz crackers at one point, and so was I. Like, I hadn't eaten in like a full day, and I'm like, wow, I am gonna look good on the beach in a couple of days. And even like Chris is like a camel. Like, he can go days without eating, which is absolutely insane. He literally will just do 3-day fasts. And I'm like, how are you doing this? He's like, you don't have to eat. I'm like, okay.
I wish I didn't have to eat, Chris. I wish.
So we get to the airport. We finally get through customs. We have to go through agriculture because a lot of these countries don't want you to bring in like fruit or accidental bugs or anything like that in your luggage. So they scan your luggage to make sure there's drugs. That's another thing. Because, you know, with my 2 toddlers, I also had time to pack 4 bricks of cocaine. So we ended up getting outside of the airport. And when I tell you, when that vitamin D from the like equator sun hit me, I'm like, it's going to be fine. And we all got into the car and it was air conditioned. And I don't know any Spanish. I'm half Nicaraguan. I don't know a fucking word. My husband, who's white, he knows more Spanish than I do. So he's talking to the taxi driver, and the taxi driver's like, oh, you know, I've got these car seats for the kids. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God, you know, they have car seats. We have a 2.5-hour drive to the VRBO. Like, this is gonna be great. We open up the car and both car seats are forward facing. And I'm like, of course he fucking wouldn't have known that. He's from Nicaragua. He's like, oh, she's gonna be so happy we have car seats. And I'm like, but my baby is only a year and a bit old. He needs to face rear. Fuck it. And like, Raphael didn't even have head strength yet. And this gives me the heebie-jeebies, but I held his head the entire 2.5-hour drive because I didn't want the guy to just like off-road or something. And for Raphael to just like, I don't know, just go for a roller coaster.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And he fell asleep with my hand on his head. And I'm like, perfect. Like, right in the middle. Had Lorenzo on one, Raphael on the other, and they're both slumped over. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. The comforts of home was a big anxiety for me traveling with the kids. And the sleep schedule, of course, was a big one for me. I will say that they do well traveling. Now, we were only 1 hour difference, I think, time zone wise. And I think I panicked more about that than I panicked about anything else. And it was fine. They slept in the same room.
But if you're out in a different, unfamiliar environment, the kids are going to be on more alert than if they were in their own home. So that takes up energy. And then if you're out in the hot ass sun next to the equator all day, yeah, absolutely. They should have slept pretty well, I would say.
They slept great. And not only that, like, Lorenzo had a king size bed to himself. He's 2 and no, wait, how old was he? He was 3 just turned 3 at the time. And Raphael was a year and a half old, and he had this massive pack and play because the VRBO owner was American. And I'm like, I need a pack and play. She's like, I got you. And she ordered like this Mac Daddy pack and play, a brand I don't even know. And I want to say it was the size of a twin bed. And I'm like, this is perfect.
Oh, wow.
I brought the sound machine. I brought blackout blinds just in case. And they were fine. And knowing now that they can sleep in the same room as each other, if anything, they probably would prefer it nowadays. I'm good.
I have a hotel hack for parents with 2 kids. If you have 2 sound machines, bring both sound machines. We had one going by the door and one going by like the back door. That place sounded like an airport terminal. And I could tell kids were running upstairs, and we were like, they put a smack daddy dab in the middle of like a softball team. So there were kids screaming on one side and kids screaming on the other side. But my kids still slept through it because I made sure it sounded like a black hole. in there. Thank you for listening to my travel hack. It saved my whole vacation.
You know what's funny is we had barking dogs and roosters in Nicaragua because that's where they live, just on the street. Roosters and chickens and
And dogs, yeah.
dogs. And I brought the sound machine and it didn't drown them out at all. They slept fine. And I truly think that they probably would have slept fine without the sound machine too, because they were so tired.
When we went to Hawaii, Charlotte was 11 months old. And she slept in a closet. I had a room with a giant walk-in closet and the pack and play and the sound machine. And that worked out so perfectly for us. I just remember it being like the best case scenario.
Have I told you the story of my parenting class in 10th grade?
No, and how you're not supposed to put a baby in a closet?
Have I told you the story?
No, but I know you're not.
So they gave us an animatronic baby in 10th grade. You had the choice. So we had a parenting class. It was like our economics class that you guys probably have.
Oh yeah, I didn't take that class.
So we had to take either home economics, cooking, or parenting. And I decided on parenting because as a 10th grader, I'm like, this will be useful. It wasn't. The baby, so you can either choose to be pregnant, they'll give you the big belly to wear around the school for a full week, or you can choose the baby, like a literal robotic infant to take care of for a full week. The baby is programmed and will report back if you don't feed it, don't change its diaper, don't play with it, or accidentally snap its neck. So, all of these things said, I was with one of the biggest nerds in the school. He was like the leader of the tech crew in high school. And when I got this baby, I was like, I'm going to get an A. He's like, yeah, you are, because I'm going to hack the baby. And I'm like, perfect.
Oh.
So he was able to hack into the baby and figure out the schedule of this baby, which is hilarious because look at me now. I'm constantly scheduling my children. However, he pulled up like 8 a.m. the baby's going to be hungry. So at 7:55, I would know the baby was just about to wake up and be hungry, that I would have his little bottle, stick it into his mouth. And it was like, you reacted in a good amount of time. That was the right thing to do. Like I wasn't wet or, I didn't want to play with you. I was hungry. So anyway, I got an A. Sorry, Miss Smith, 10th grade parenting at St. Thomas Aquinas.
What was this man's name and why do I have to blame him for your OCD with your children?
Oh, we don't have to name him. He knows who he is.
Okay.
But I will say that the fact that I was able to hack the baby also let me know what night was going to be the worst night where it was up, 1,000 times a night. So because of that, I put it in its crib and knew that it was going to have a fussy night. A fussy night means that you're just going to have to stay up and rock it or whatever. But I found out that fussy just means that no matter what I do, it's just going to cry. So I just kind of had to wait it out. So I put it in the crib, knew when it's going to get fussy, and shoved it into my closet. Shut the door. And I was like, nothing I do will help. And it was true because in the morning I woke up and I'm like, I'm well rested. And my mom was like, I heard the baby crying last night. What was going on? I'm like, oh, it was just fussy. She's like, what did you do? I'm like, I put it in the closet. And she's like, oh.
Hopefully she had no backstory to this either.
She's like, oh, did that work? I'm like, it did.
When you told her you were pregnant, she must have had flashbacks.
Oh, she dies. Even to this day, she's like, there were days where I would be like, oh, we'll just go to the hotel. I'm like, we'll just maybe put him in the bathroom or something. And she'll go, or a closet. I'm like, obviously we're scarred by this mother. The whole thing with taking a vacation with your kids too is you have to figure out if you want the vacation to be for your kids or if you want it to be for you.
And if you want it to be for you, you shouldn't have brought your children.
Oh no, leave them at home. Absolutely. However, there are some families that don't have that option, right? So if you want to have a beach vacation or you want to go to Mexico or you want to go on a cruise, you have to keep your kids in mind on top of yourself. I have talked to a couple of people, and it sounds like cruises are the way to go.
Because you have the child care center?
Because you have the child care center and there's activities that are catered to kids. There's food everywhere. There's lifeguards everywhere. I feel like it sounds kind of like a dream. But one of my girlfriends just went on a cruise with her 8-year-old, and she's like, I can't say more good things about it. Like, it is an awesome experience. And she's like, maybe wait until your youngest is like 3 or 4, just so that, you don't have to be shackled to naps or anything like that. But she's like, it is
Right.
a lot of fun with the kids on a cruise. And I'm like, I think that sounds like maybe our next solo vacation without like parents and all that kind of stuff. So, and I know that you've been on cruises and stuff like that. Your next one is a Disney cruise for sure. So,
Never been on a cruise. Are we planning it together?
After we go to Applebee's. At Applebee's.
My family wants us so badly to go to Disney World with the kids. And that is a lot of families, that's like a dream vacation to be able to take their kids to Disney World when they're young. For me, that is not something that I want to do. That is not something that interests me at all. And quickly, I'll tell you why. I worked at Disney World for about 2 years. It was lovely. It was wonderful. And I was like, one day I would love to take my kids here, but I got to go to the parks for free. I never had to pay a dime. So people are spending $10,000 to $15,000 on a week at Disney. I'd rather update my kitchen or my bathroom, to be honest with you. But a Disney cruise, I've never heard a bad thing about it. Now, mind you, you're going to be paying the same amount, if not more, depending on which one you take. But it's also all inclusive. So,
and
that plays a part in that.
You don't have to wait in as many lines because there's a finite amount of people on the boat.
That's right. And Disney does a good job. I will give it to Disney. They always do a good job of diverting the mass crowds into they section them off, and they plan certain things so that you're never getting too many people at one place. They do this in the parks. They do this on the cruise too. So they have like entertainment on all the way on this side of the boat. And then they have like maybe a show all the way on this side. And in the middle, there's this big dining event. So people are pretty scattered and sporadic, but they do have the children's section there as well. So I think that our next move is going to also be a Disney cruise. Like the next big thing that we do.
They are expensive, and I have seen people go on them. I think I can probably weasel my way into some sort of Disney cruise. I think I have enough contacts in the hotel industry where I can figure that out somehow. I think for me, because I've worked in hotels for so long, it's very hard for me to pay for a hotel room, A, at full price, and
oh yeah,
B, it's very difficult for me to not get the amenities that are featured with that cheap hotel room. So if I'm paying for a cruise or stateroom or whatever it is, it better be awesome, better come with the good food, better come with the good drinks, all that stuff. And I just wouldn't want it to be terrible. And there's a lot riding on what, $10,000 for 6 days, whatever it is.
Oh, that's a 3-day.
What? Good God. I think Disney Cruise is probably the next thing. Oh my God, you're right.
I hate to tell you that I'm right, but I am.
Oh my gosh, that's expensive. All right, well, I'll be selling my liver for a 4-night Bohemian cruise from Port Canaveral in August 2024 on a Disney cruise. Great. That's fantastic. I mean, really, how long do I want to be stuck on a boat with my kids and my husband? I'm not very long, but like 4 days is probably it, right? I could probably do 4 days.
Yeah, okay. 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise at minimum is $9,200. We might want to rethink that. Let's go Royal Caribbean. That can't be much different.
God, a concierge room, August 12th to 16th this year, Monday to Friday.
$13,000.
$26,000. I need windows for my house, but no. Let me go see Mickey Mouse with a beverage in my hand while looking at a sunset. Oh, God. And
one thing I do want to talk about when it comes to traveling with infants is when I went to Hawaii with Charlotte, she was 11 months old. So I still had her on breast milk. And I had to travel from Michigan to Hawaii with, I think it was like 500 ounces of breast milk because we were there for 9 days. So that's just how it like averaged out. And we actually used every single bit of it. But going through TSA with children is a fucking nightmare. And then going through TSA with a cooler full of breast milk that cannot be opened more than once because we were traveling for 14 hours was so stressful because they had to open it. And okay, well, they didn't, but they told me that they did. And I knew that they didn't because I read all the laws. But when they told me that they had to, I'm like, okay, you do whatever you want. Please just get me through the security line and to my next destination.
I will just lose 500 whatever ounces of. It's fine.
You can honestly just take it.
You just take it.
Just take it.
It's like the water bottles. Like
you want to test it too? You want me to open it?
Water bottle. Just take it. It's fine.
But then you have like snacks and pouches and give me 3 good tips for traveling by plane with children.
I don't think I can answer this because baby carry. Get an expensive carrier. Just splurge, just do it. I used my Lilla baby the entire trip, and it was useful because I had the front motion, and then I also had the backpack version, so I could strap them both on. And I had 2 of them actually. I brought one for Lorenzo too. Of course, he's not going to get into that. Are you kidding? But the baby loved it, and the baby was not even walking at this point. He was just crawling. So I think if he was walking, it would have been a disaster. But yeah, baby carry, snacks, tablet. Sorry, gotta say it. Gotta bring the tablet. We needed a tablet. Lorenzo was, if we handed him that thing, it was like he was in another world. And I'm like, see ya, dude. And even Chris got to like enjoy a movie, I think. The baby was like way more alert and not as like involved with the tablet as Lorenzo was, but he definitely fell asleep and it was easy to carry him around, so it was lovely. I would say that tips, I don't think everybody's tips work for everybody, but I do feel like maybe the tablet is yours too.
No,
you didn't.
Yes. So I didn't for Hawaii. We had the tablet, but at the time, again, 11 months old, babies don't really just sit and watch TV. So she was like smacking it and tapping, throwing it. I do have a couple. I have takeoff and landing, a bottle, because the ears pop and babies and kids don't really know how to relieve the ear pressure. And when you swallow, it relieves the pressure in the ears. So a bottle or a sippy cup, takeoff and landing. I would always, if you can do priority boarding, do it. Be shuffling through like a line of cattle and trying to find your seat and getting the carry-on in the carry-on and trying to put your child in the row and having them sit down and relax is a lot harder when there's 50 people behind you also trying to board. And you can look up at the airport if you get there early or if you have a layover somewhere. Most airports have mothers' rooms and nursing rooms and even kids' play areas. Not that you really want to go be touching, kids' play area toys, but if you have a 6-7 hour layover and you're running out of stuff to do, I'm sure that there are places within the airport to take your kids and make use of like the mother's room or the nursing room that they provide, because it's probably a lot cleaner to, be nursing your baby you can nurse your baby wherever you want, but in a separate area where there are other moms, hopefully being, you know, cautious, and it's more comfortable, and it's secluded. Maybe baby takes a nap. Those are my 3 big ones.
What are those mom pods that are in airports? Like, what's the brand?
I think it's Mom Pod. They have one at the Detroit Institute of Arts.
Then that's what it is.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
It's just a little area. I was there with Charlotte and Cecilia a couple months ago. It's just a little pod. It's got air conditioning. There's a seat for your kid. They have like wet wipes and like a changing pad. It's just a little pod, but do they have them in airports now?
They definitely do. I have seen them everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean really just Detroit. But I didn't use them. I mean, I've never traveled with the kids when I was breastfeeding in any capacity. But yeah, those,
I would utilize those if you find one in an airport.
yeah, let us know how it is, because I haven't used one, and apparently Michaela hasn't either in an airport. But apparently at the Art Institute in Detroit, they have those.
Yeah.
The other thing to traveling with kids is remembering that your children are the enemy here. It's you and your husband or your partner against the children, because the children are trying to ruin your traveling experience. So when we were on our way to the airport, Chris and I looked at each other and we were like, all right, man, who's the enemy here? And we just like turned around and we're like, it's you guys.
But it's so true. Like, because you will fight with your partner when it's not their fault.
And you against these assholes. And like, that helped so much, because we framed the whole thing of like, okay, we're going to yell at each other. We're going to yell at each other. We're going to get frustrated. We're going to take things out on each other. And whoa, boy, did we. But by the time that we were like back, we got to where we needed to be. We were settled. Like, we just kind of gave each other a big hug and we're like, we did it. And I got to give it up to my husband, because any sort of traveling with him, there's like a verb. It's a verb. I use his last name as a verb because he does things sometimes that no other human could possibly do. And I say that he bomberitos his way into things. So for some reason, like, what was it? We were checking our bags, and we had to, in Fort Lauderdale, I'm sure you know this, when you come off of an international flight in Fort Lauderdale, you have to recheck your bags. And because we had to go through customs and then recheck everything, I had to wait for him because he had my ID. And for some reason, like, he was able to just skip over all of that. And we checked everything, whatever. We just walked through the airport. No one bothered us. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And when we were coming to one of our other connecting flights, for some reason, because the other flight was delayed, this is a long story, so I'm not going to get too into this. Basically, our boarding pass was wrong. And the TSA agent looked at us and she was like, I can't let you onto this flight. And by this point, we are so tired and we were so just pooped. We didn't want to do anything else than to just sit down and be on the plane. And Chris drops the bags and he's like, I'll be right back. And he runs to the front, grabs a manager. We had like 20 minutes to board the flight. Like, it was not enough time with 2 kids. We also had to go through security. We also had to get our bags checked. Everything was going wrong. It was hell on earth. And he was just like, he made it happen. And he always does that. He's very good at making shit happen. So kudos to Chris. Did a great job in Nicaragua, and that is why we will not be going on another family vacation for a hot minute, because we almost killed each other while we were there.
So I'll ask you, traveling with infants, is it worth it?
No.
Nope.
Nope. Wait until they're older. If you really want that memory of almost not making your flight, your connecting flight, if you want that memory of running out of snacks at 2 in the morning and panicking, not knowing where your next cracker will be. If you want the memory of, oh no, did I forget the potty seat in the checked bag, or is it in my carry-on? Then yeah, okay, fine. If you want those memories, you go for it. I don't want those memories. The longest trip that I have with my kids coming up right now is we're going to Sault Ste. Marie in a month to go see one of Chris's friends graduate the Coast Guard. And we're bringing the kids. I don't know why we're doing it, but we are. And that's going to be our little trip, which you have to go talk to him about. But it's like a 5-hour drive. We've done way more than that. So
5-hour drive, you mean like 9-hour
right,
drive?
exactly. Double it. But we've gotten very efficient though. We do the drive often because we go to Canada. So
oh yeah, that's right.
We know how it works. We know when to leave. We know how much snacks to bring. We know how many potty breaks we need. We stop feeding them water before we get into the car. We throw the tablet at them, and we hope for just like an easygoing ride.
Very good. I think it's time to wrap this up. There's a tornado in Oklahoma, and I have to check in.
You have to be a part of this tornado watching. Well, I feel like, as always, we got a little bit off topic, but thank you so much for joining us this week. Hit subscribe, follow, like, all of the things. Leave us a comment on any of our socials. Feel free to start a flame war on Michaela's Instagram Reels. She loves that. And let's see, what do we have next week? Still nothing.
We don't know.
Still nothing, y'all.
It could possibly be something, but for right now, it's not anything.
Goose egg. We hope you all had a laugh, maybe learned something, and hope to see you again next week.
Bye.